Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Ed, and I just want to talk about something that is really cool. And that's going to be that Supernote has introduced a plugin system that they're working on. Now, this is in beta. It's actually in a developer beta, and Supernote is working with developers to create plugins for their new plugin system. So it's even more than just a beta community. And luckily, those of us who are already in the beta community and already testing out some of the newest features are kind of jumping in along with the developers to try to see what the possibilities are for this new ecosystem and this new way of doing things. And I just think it's really cool. I think the idea of what they're doing is awesome because they're looking at this in the long term and really trying to understand what their ecosystem will look like versus something like BOOX or something like a lot of the other manufacturers who have Google Play installed on their devices. Supernote doesn't take that approach. They kind of do a midway approach to what Remarkable does, being a fully locked down Linux system, and what BOOX does with being a fully open Google Play system, while still allowing the flexibility, sideloading, and other things that Android allows you to do. And so I'm really, really pumped and excited about this. It provides opportunities to bring things to the platform that people are wanting, and you can interchange those out. You can select what you want and what you don't want. And the cool thing is it's custom built to the platform. So this issue that comes up with Google Play enabled devices is the idea that you have apps that just aren't optimized for that. They're not meant to work with the system. So what you're going to see in this video is me kind of showing you what that looks like and what the very early stages are. Now, as a quick reminder, please do not use this as something that you should just run out and do. If you aren't comfortable with beta software, if you're concerned that it may corrupt something on your system, do not do this. Even I have only put it on my Manta so that I can make sure that I have a backup. So if you're not comfortable with that, if you're not comfortable in dealing with unstable versions or pulling things from GitHub, stay away from this until it's ready to roll out completely. But let's go ahead. We'll jump over real quick. I want to show you something on the screen and kind of walk you through what this development community looks like. We'll do a quick demo and then we'll come back for some final thoughts. All right, everyone. So here we are with the developer community. So it's r supernote_dev. And what's nice about this is an open community. Even if you don't want to participate in this yet, you can come here and you can read all about this. And you can download the build if you want to do that. You can do pretty much anything you want to do. The nice thing is there are so many of these tools available, and I'll show you a few of them here in just a minute, that it's just a nice back and forth and a nice community. And you'll see I'm involved in discussing some of these and in some of these comments, but they're all doing such interesting things. And so the snap shapes is one you can go through and look at, and you'll see I've given some feedback already and been in contact with the developer. Again, these are people doing things like my friend Jay, who just are way above my head, way above my pay grade. But I really enjoy the fact that Supernote is allowing this to be a public development. So things that people have been asking about for a long time, including pulling shapes into your notes and having pre-made shapes. The idea that people are talking about Linux development and adding blank pages. Now, not all of these have been developed yet, but people are sharing ideas and talking about it. The snap shape, which I'll show you, I mentioned here in a minute, is one where you can do your own scribbles and your own drawing of a circle and then have it refine it for you after the fact with the lasso tool. So it's just really, really cool. And even inserting images is in here, and I'll show you that one as well. So again, just wanted to show you where this community was. It's r supernote_dev. If you want to jump into that and even just lurk and look at it, I encourage you to do so. It's an absolutely phenomenal thing that I think Supernote is doing right now. All right, everybody. So here we are with my Supernote Manta, and this is my plugin test. And this is very much a beta and a developer side thing. I, in full disclosure, am not a developer, but I like to play with and I like to tinker. And the way that they've opened this community up is to allow you to be able to do those things. So I'm in these conversations, and you'll check down in the description, you'll see how this works and kind of what this community is all about. And it really seems to be the way that Rada really wants to get people involved. But I wanted to show you why I think this is just so cool and what I see as the huge potential and upside for this. I'm very happy to have my calligraphy pen back. It's only available in the developer beta. So if you haven't signed up for that, and don't, unless you really are not concerned with losing something, and since I have multiple devices and I've got it all synced to the Supernote cloud, I'm not as worried about that. But if you're worried about something going wrong, I would not suggest getting on this developer model. But I love my calligraphy pen very, very much. But we'll save that for another time. So right now, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you, you'll see over here on this left-hand side, the little, almost looks like a puzzle piece. So that's your plugin. And when you go there, what you're going to see if you're on this beta or this developer beta is you're going to see your plugins. Mostly what you'll see, unless you've downloaded a new plugin, is going to be stickers, because stickers were the first plugin that Supernote did as proof of concept. And then you can go to manage plugins, and you'll see I already downloaded a couple of them. And then you can have up to 10 plugins. Now, I don't know if they're going to change that in the future, or if they're trying to be aware of the fact that they don't want to bog down the device, but very cool in the way they're doing this. So you can have up to 10, being selective as usual with the way Supernote works, and you can pretty much pick what you want. And if you ever want to add a plugin, it is so easy to do. So what I did is I went to the GitHub repository where the plugin was, and I just downloaded the file, and then I opened up my Supernote partner app and I drug that file over directly into my style. And once you do, you're going to see there are your plugins. They pull right in. You could pull it to any folder. Like if I wanted to create a folder that said plugins, I could do it that way as well. And then I would be able to navigate to my plugins. Now, this is very limited to begin with. There aren't a lot of plugins out there, but there were two that I saw that were really interesting to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and go back out here. And one is the insert shapes. So we'll talk about insert image here in a minute, because it's an alpha. So it's very much in development, and it's a phenomenal plugin in theory, and even in the way it's working so far, it works really well. It's not in English, but I think that's something that'll be coming later. And you don't really need it as much because you can kind of figure out and intuit what it's doing. But let's talk about shapes first. So if you go into shapes, now you're going to see all of these shapes. Now, my assumption is they're going to populate more in. And of course, it says single tap to draw instantly, and then made with love for those who write. So I really enjoy the community developer piece of this. So you can do straight lines, which you can already draw, but you can go ahead and insert one automatically. You can do square, circle, rounded square, ellipse, a lot of different things here. And I think they'll probably add more to this repository over time. And when I go ahead and I go into that, now you're going to get your shape. And what's cool about this is it automatically brings up your floating toolbar, and you can make this a link and add a link in here. You can make it a heading. You can copy it, cut it, paste it, delete it. You can also go to this drop down, and this is where the plugin environment is so awesome, because it now creates shape options right here. And here's where you can adjust the line thickness of your shape and the border color of your shape. So the outline color of your shape. Now, it is very much a new program. I think this may be the second release of this one. But if you go here, you're going to notice I get a thicker box. Now, the only thing that you have to really remember here is when I go back and I select it again, it's going to let me go back in and I can say I want shape options. And now let's say that I want that to be this color, so a gray color. It resets every time. That's something that I think the developer is working on. And again, it's very much proof of concept at this point. So it took, and you'll notice it didn't remember my line thickness. So you have to really kind of decide out front what you want to have happen here. But once you do, if I say that I want a black one with a very thick border, it's going to do that. But you can't adjust those on the fly. But what is cool is once you have it selected, then you can quickly move that however you want. And again, you still maintain the ability to turn it into a heading, to turn it into a link, or to do whatever you want with that. It works really well for a newly designed item. So I think it's really cool. And then of course, once you have your shape, you can then right here and see what it looks like. So pretty cool. So a lot of things you could do with this. I could see this being really helpful. They show it on graph paper, so I could see this being really helpful for engineers, really helpful for people who are trying to mind map something out. Now, I don't believe you can do this in Atelier, and I don't believe you can do it in a document, but pretty neat. And so that's just a really cool feature. So now let's look at the other one, and this is the image test. So if you go into Insert Image, and you'll notice there it put my most popular at the top, or my last used at the top. So it's kind of cool. It's got that logic built in. But so let's go ahead and we're going to go into My Style, and we're going to go into Photos, and we will go ahead and go into Family. And let's go ahead and take this picture of Melissa and I. And what you'll see here, and this is where it not being in English kind of throws you off a little bit. But you've got a bounding box here, and you can press these buttons to kind of adjust where that box is. So you notice there when I press down, the box went down, and then I can press over and frame that in nicely. Let's go ahead over this way a little bit. So again, remember, this is an alpha, so I don't want to, there it is. You increase the bounding box here. I'm not really sure what this one is, but you increase that bounding box there. And now I can go over and let's increase it one more time and go over, maybe one more. So now I've got that nice framed image. And again, I assume this means cancel. I know this one because I've used it before means to go ahead and accept. And then when I accept it, you'll notice it put it in sideways, which is a little bit interesting, but I will be able to rotate that when I select it again. So from here, I can, not really a lot of options here. I can't link it or do anything like that, but I do now have this, and it is not, go ahead and rotate it. Well, okay, so it won't rotate. So again, remember, this is an alpha, so I want to be real clear about that. I don't want to make this seem like I'm putting this down at all, and I will put links in the description. All right, so I won't be able to get this in all the way, but I wanted to show you just part of what it could look like. And again, it's before it inserted a whole picture for me, and then I could resize that and write on it. Here, I can resize it very easily and show you what that looks like. It does not allow you to rotate the picture yet. Again, this is a pre-release, so it's not even a full release yet. They're still working out what they want this to look like. But it's a pretty cool process. And what I wanted to show on this was, so let's say I go ahead, I put this in, you now have it here. You can actually write over this if you want to, but you can also then delete that or erase that. So when I go, now you are going to see some lag. It's getting better though. So I could, if this was a very light picture, I could do writing on it. I could write over it, but it's not on the base layer, and that's why it's different. So for example, now, even though I wrote, let's go ahead and write hello. I'm having so much trouble with my L's today. So I can write hello, and let's say I want to put this right by it. I'll just go ahead and select it, and I'll move this up here, and then I will shrink it down. And now I'll move my hello, and I'll move it right over. So the idea being that before, when you put an image in, it had to be a template. It had to be a base layer. It basically had to be that background. Now with this plugin and where it's headed, you're able to put images directly in and then right next to them. So you could do this with screenshots. You could do this with pretty much any image that you have. So it makes it very, very powerful. So if you combine something like this with the digest, where you could now take and use a digest entry underneath a schematic, and then you could go and link that all over the place, that would be huge. Now, you can't put the picture in the digest, at least yet. So you can't, I don't believe, circle this and have it be a digest entry. No, you can't. And right now, the digest does not handle images. But I could see this in the future being very powerful, of being able to have a schematic or a diagram. So for me, I could have Bloom's taxonomy and I could have a note on that and I could have annotations. And then I could take and make my digest entry out of the annotations, and it all links back to this same note. So this is early brainstorming. I'm not saying that's how I'll use it for sure, but I see this as being a really positive step for Supernote. So again, check down in the description. We'll go ahead and pop over. I'll give you some final thoughts. Okay, I'm back. I went ahead and added one more thing because it was super exciting to me. Not so much that I necessarily would use it, but that I could see a lot of utility of it. So for example, I went ahead and I added in, and it's misnamed a little bit. It says export node, but that's not what it really is. It's snap to shape, they're calling it. But let me show you what this does. So I'm going to write a little circle here, write a square here, a triangle here, and let's do a rectangle here. And then let's do an ellipse in the middle. Do an ellipse. And you can see very, very rudimentary. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that to lasso it. And then I'm going to go over here to my drop down, and you'll see here it actually says snap shapes. And then when I hit snap shapes, what's going to happen, and it takes it a little while because it's actually accessing on the folder, and you see it's not quite gotten it all right yet, but look at what it did on several of them. I mean, here it accidentally saw my circle as an ellipse, and it got my ellipse right. It didn't get the square, but it got the triangle, and it got the rectangle. So the more intentional you are and the closer you are to getting that perfect shape, or at least as close as you can get, and then you circle it. But you can do multiples at once, which is what I think is really neat about it. So if I go here and I go to snap shapes, now this one, hopefully, although it's a little wobbly, so it may see it as an ellipse. Yep, and it did. So it didn't quite get my circle, but that's a me thing more than anything else. When I take my time and I really, and you may even want to do this on graph paper to make it really work well, or a background template that's a graph. So if we go here and let's just do it one more time, and I'm drawing at a weird angle here too. So that's another reason that it got that one just perfect. So just something really cool that I wanted to show you. This is geeking me out a little bit with these plugins and just how quick they are to manage and download. And once you're in here and you go into manage, you can then go and you can remove them real easily. You can turn them on and off. So my guess might be that you can only have 10 active, but it may be that you can only have 10 installed. I don't know yet because this is an evolving thing, but it's just really, really cool. All right, now I've done geeked out. Let's go ahead and jump back over and we will debrief this thing a little bit and just talk about what I think is coming next. All right, everybody. So I really want to take a minute to debrief this. This was me coming in, showing you some things really quickly and talking about just my excitement over where I see Supernote and Rada heading. They've always been ones to listen to their community. They're always developing new things. And Kit Betts Masters had mentioned that they might be in development now with Wacom on some new styli. But even this plugin community that they're building, that they started with their stickers, and now opening that up to a wider development community and really getting them interested and engaged in doing these new and innovative things and making that fully available. And we haven't even touched on private cloud. I encourage you to reach out to my friend Jay over on YouTube, who talks about private cloud. Amazing what they're doing there. But with this plugin system really lets you customize and understand that whatever is being developed right now is being developed with the Supernote in mind. It's not just a general app that's on the Google Play Store and can be downloaded on any device. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I have Libby, I have Nook, I have the Kindles already preloaded, but I also have Kobo. So there are a lot of really cool things that you can sideload and they will work very well. But nothing is going to integrate as well as some of these tools. You saw real-time toolbar lasso integration in a way that is just amazing that someone else can create that and it would just work. It reminds me a lot of Obsidian and the way Obsidian allows community plugins to really work with their software in the long run. So that's it. Wanted to say thank you to everybody. Please continue to like, subscribe. Over 70% of you who watch my content regularly are not subscribed. Come on, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Also, check out my links below. They help me a ton. A lot of interesting things coming to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon. But until next time, keep on moving forward, and I will talk to you in the next video.